Hello there, I'm James Gilmer, your User Services Librarian, here to introduce the library's webinar on library resources in the social sciences.
So today's learning objectives are first, knowing what library resources that are available, both print and online, that specialize in social sciences. The second one is navigating and searching the library's social sciences databases to find specific types of sources. And the third one is knowing where to get additional assistance in conducting research in the social sciences. So by the end of this session today, you should be able to do all three of these things, or at least be familiar with all three. So before we jump into doing research in the social sciences, it's good to have a good foundation and understanding of what the social sciences actually are. And social sciences are academic disciplines that deal with the cultural and social behaviors of humans. And there are several different fields within the social sciences, and some of them are listed down here, but there are many more than just these that are listed here. But a lot of the common ones are psychology and communication sciences and disorders, which kind of falls under communication, media studies, which also falls under communication, and then there's also education, sociology, anthropology, and political science. And there's obviously many more of these, but depending on your discipline, depending on what you're researching, your research needs may vary, just because there are so many different fields within the social sciences that you may need different types of sources. So what library resources are available for conducting research in the social sciences? So there's many different resources available to you from the Pfeiffer Library website. The first one is obviously Dragon Quest, which is our online catalog that contains print and electronic sources. It basically combines everything that we have from all of our databases into one searchable platform. There's also our A to Z database list, which is Pfeiffer Library's entire list of databases, and they can be filtered to social science databases only by using the drop-down menus or the search bar on the A to Z database list page. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a little bit here. But I kind of broke down some of the things that I'm going to go into more detail in with the A to Z list. We have a list of EBSCO social science databases, which I'm going to show in a list later. And then I'm also going to walk you through the below three databases in more detail. And these specialize in the social sciences. The first one is Project Muse. There's also APA PsycNet, which is specific for social sciences and psychology specifically. And then there's also Jove Core for social psychology, so that combines kind of both together. So I'm going to walk you through those. And then there's also our social science subject research guides, which provide tips on conducting research on social science topics. It lists relevant publications and databases, as well as other relevant sources. So these are kind of the main things that you can use to conduct research in the social sciences here. And I'm going to walk you through how to use Dragon Quest to do more specific searches for social sciences topics. And then I'm going to show you the A to Z database list, what the EBSCO social science databases are, and then walk you through Project Muse, APA PsycNet, and Jove Core. And then I'll show you where to find our research guides. So to start off with Dragon Quest, again, it's our online catalog that combines content from all of our databases into one searchable platform. And so if you want to do a search for social science sources, you just want to do a basic search on Dragon Quest, you can visit the library homepage and then just type in your search terms, or you can use the advanced search function that's located below the search bar. And then once you conduct your search, you want to use the databases filter on the left side to narrow down your results to social science databases only. And what that's going to do is it's going to limit the items that you see to just the social science databases that we have. Some examples include Communication and Mass Media Complete and the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collections. There are several others, but those are just some examples. And some potential search terms include social science, sociology, media, communication, relationships, human behavior, social constructs, gender psychology, anthropology, political science, social services. There's all sorts of words you can use, and you can kind of change them and tweak them depending on what your results end up being And when you change a word, it can actually really change how many results you get and the type of results you get. So it's really important to think of terms that are related to your research topic and then use those in your searches rather than just using the same search terms over and over and hoping you get different results. So I'm going to show you how to do a basic search kind of based off what I showed here. So I'm on the Pfeiffer Library website, just library.tiffin.edu, and our Dragon Quest search bar is located in the middle here. And I'm going to just do a very basic search for media studies. Now I'm off campus right now, so if you are also off campus, you may get this login screen. All you have to do is just sign in with your username, which is everything before the @ symbol in your university email, and then your password is what you use for self-service and other TU platforms. So that should get you in, no problem. But if you're on campus, then you won't see this screen. And so these are the search results that I have. So I'm going to go down to the left side following the instructions that I showed you earlier. And I'm going to go down to databases. And I'm going to go to show more to see all the list. And I'm going to select the databases that are going to be most relevant to what I'm searching for. So social science databases would include APA PsycInfo. Education Research Complete might be one to check out as well. Communication and Mass Media Complete would be really good for media studies, which is what I typed in. SOCINDEX is probably a good other one. You can select any number of these. I'm not going to go through every single one just for the sake of time here. But you can basically go through these and kind of look at each title and figure out if it's relevant to your research topic or not. And you'll see on the right side, it shows you how many hits you have. So that's how many search results are from that database. And it gets higher as you go up. So I'm going to go ahead and click update. And so now it's only showing me search results from the databases that I selected. And so this is a really easy way to narrow things down, make that number smaller at the top here. And from there, when you want to view a source, a lot of times they're going to be electronic sources, which will be indicated by a link down here. It'll say something along the lines of PDF or full text finder, something like that. There's also HTML, which is also basically a web page of the source that has it in full text. So basically anything that's got a link below here, it'll most likely be an electronic source. If you do end up finding a print source, it's probably going to be a book or some kind of form of media like a DVD or CD. That's something you may have to request from another institution, and it'll usually show you a green request button that you can request through Ohio Link. And I'm actually wondering if I could find one. Okay, so here's an example of one that is in fact a print source, and you'll see that there's a green request button. And so if you want to request this item, you just click on request. And just a reminder, this is for those of you who are on campus. If you are an online student, you are welcome to check these out and request them. You just need to be able to pick it up on our campus library, at our campus library desk, unless you're able to pick it up at another Ohio Link school, which is through our Pick Up Anywhere option. So that when you want to request this book, you just follow the prompts, put your name in here, and then your barcode goes here. Now that's your 9-digit code that's either on the back of your student ID if you have one, or you can just go to self-service and log in and find it that way. If you end up not finding it, you can always send us an email and we can retrieve it for you, and we'll send it to you via email. And then you just want to pick Library Circulation Desk. and then hit submit. And if it was successful, then you'll get a web page that says it was successful, and you'll get an email when the item's ready to be picked up. Now, I know most people tend to just use the electronic sources because it's a lot easier and it's a lot faster, more efficient. And if you want to do that, then that's fine. But I did want to show you that we have print sources as well. Now, if you want to do the advanced search, it's very similar to a basic search in terms of searching for social sciences resources. It just allows you to be a little more specific in your searching. So I'm going to keep media studies up here for the example, and I'm going to add another search term here, United States. So what this is going to do is it's going to search for both. You can use these Boolean operators down here in the drop-down to categorize the second search term. So basically, if you're not familiar with these, and is going to make your search a lot smaller because it's searching for both terms, or is going to make your search a lot larger because it's going to search for either one, and not is going to exclude anything you include in the second search box. So if you're getting a lot of search results related to the United States, for example, you can put United States and change this to not and do a search, and then it'll take out anything that's related to the United States. And then when you get to the advanced search results page, you would follow the same instructions that you would do for a basic. You can use the databases filter here. You can also use any of the filters that are here as well, like source type, if you're looking for a specific source type. You can limit it by publication date, full text, peer-reviewed journals if you need peer-reviewed sources. And then you can also use any of these filters here. So I did kind of outline the instructions for doing an advanced search. Like I said, you can use the Boolean terms to make your search more specific. And then you just reuse the Refine Results tab on the left to refine your search and make the search results a little smaller. And I did kind of outline this already, so when you are retrieving sources from Dragon Quest, you can use the scholarly journals or academic journals checkboxes to only see peer-reviewed sources. And if there are print sources available, you can request them through OhioLink. There's also an interlibrary loan request option that some sources will have. And then you can also locate the item in our library stacks if the listing shows that it belongs to our library. And as for the electronic sources, just look for the PDF links or the HTML links or anything that will kind of indicate that it's an online source. Now, I did want to mention really quickly, if you do need to cite your sources, which 9 times out of 10 you probably will, you can also get pre-made citations in Dragon Quest by going to the cite icon on the right side of your source that you're looking at. And I'll just show you where that is in the source that I had open here. Go ahead and open this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the source, go to the tools on the right, click on Cite, and it's going to give you some pre-made citations. You just want to scroll down to APA, and the citation's already made for you. And you can just copy and paste it into your document. You will want to make sure that the formatting is correct, but it's a great way to start instead of having to do these from scratch. So that is how to do some searching for social science sources in Dragon Quest. Now I'm going to move on to the A to Z database list. And our A to Z list is a list of almost 200 databases that you can use from our website, and they're listed alphabetically by default. You can browse by the letter, or you can use the drop-down menus to filter out databases that are relevant to your topic. And so some of the subjects that you would want to consider are communication, cultural studies, education, political science, psychology, and sociology. And then there's also different database types, and I did kind of highlight some of the ones you may want to consider. Case studies might be a big one, government information, images, videos and music, journal articles, and statistics. And I'm going to show you where that is. So if you've never used it before, you just go to our homepage, go down to the databases icon, and it's going to show you our list of 193 databases currently. Under database type, this is where you're going to find the different types of databases. So there's the government information, journal articles, statistics, case studies. And when you click on these, it's going to show you all of the databases that fall under that category. And then if you go to subjects, there is no social sciences giant umbrella for databases, but what you can do is you can, based on your discipline, it's like if you're in psychology, for example, we have a psychology subject, and that'll give you all of our psychology databases. If you're in communication, there's a communication subject. There's also one on cultural studies. There's education. And then there's political science. So you can kind of browse through based off of the discipline you're studying. Now, the one thing that I will share with you is you may notice some of these databases have the word EBSCO underneath the title. And what this means is that it has the same search functions as Dragon Quest. So if you know how to use Dragon Quest, you'll be able to use any database that has EBSCO underneath its alternative names and keywords line. And I just clicked on one to show you it's very similar. Looks like it ended up, let's try this again. So you'll see it looks very similar. You can just conduct a basic search. And everything looks pretty much the same. Filters are the same. Accessing courses is the same. And there are a lot of different social sciences databases that fall under the EBSCO provider. And I did highlight some of them in the next slide here, so I will go ahead and show you those. So these are the main ones. There's obviously probably a couple that do cross-reference other disciplines, but these are the primary ones that are going to be ones for the social sciences. And like I said, these are all under EBSCO, so they all have the same search functions as Dragon Quest, so they're very easy to use. So we've got Academic Search Complete, which has an index and abstract collection of scholarly publications for all areas of study. There's Education Full Text and Education Research Complete, which are full text articles and contemporary education issues. There's Academic Search Premier, which is very similar to Academic Search Complete. There's APA Psych Info, which has journal articles, chapters of books and dissertations in psychology going back to 1887. There's Mass Ultra School Edition, which has high school magazines. SocIndex with full text has sociology full text articles, so that's good if you're studying sociology. There's a gender studies database and an LGBTQ plus source database, which contains full art text articles on gender-related topics and LGBTQ plus issues and trends. And then there's also Women's Studies International, which has women's studies sources. So you want to make sure you check our A to Z list for the full list of EBSCO databases. These are the ones that are going to be your best bets in terms of social sciences. But items in these databases are included in Dragon Quest searches, so you may be able to find them through Dragon Quest, but searching these individually is going to make your search a lot easier than searching Dragon Quest where everything is included. So now I'm going to cover some of the databases that aren't part of EBSCO, so you will have to learn how to use them. And I wanted to highlight some of them so that way you know how to use them when you're doing research. The first one is Project Muse, and it provides articles in the social sciences and other fields. And to browse sources on this database, you can browse the collection with just the browse icon, and then select social sciences under research area. And then from there, you can kind of just click on sources as you see fit. If you want to do a regular search, there's a search bar available, and then just use the limiters to narrow down your search results. And your results can be viewed, downloaded, and cited directly from the database, which is also really convenient. So Project Muse is located under P, and you just want to click on the link. And so if you want to browse, you just hit the browse icon. And so it allows you to browse different source types. So there's books, journals, digital things, and publishers. So you can kind of browse however you want to browse things. I'm going to go ahead and browse journals here. And so when you're kind of browsing, there's a filter toolbar on the left. And it's very similar to Dragon Quest actually, because there's a lot of the same things. So you can kind of browse and apply these filters as you see fit, depending on what you're looking for. And when you want to look at a source, if there's a lock icon on there, that means it might not be full text. To change that, you can change this to only content I have access to. And then this will take out anything that's not full text. And then once you click on the source, it allows you to see the table of contents, and then you can see there's download links to view all of the articles and chapters within the book or journal that you're looking at. So that's how to browse. Now, if you want to do a search, you can do that as well. And it follows kind of the same process where once you get your search results, there are filters on the left, and you can filter it to content you only have access to see what you have access to only. And then there's going to be either links located right on the search results page, or you can click on the source and get to the access point that way. Now, depending on your research topic, it might not be a bad idea to kind of look at the research area filter, because this will allow you to kind of narrow things down a lot easier. So there's actually a social sciences filter, so you can even just put that on, and that will kind of take out a lot of the stuff that you may not want. So that's just a brief overview on how Project Muse works. If you do need to cite things, I'm going to go ahead and click on another, just a random source to see if we can find the citation. So whenever you need citation information, just click on the View Citation option, and then it's going to show you different options, and just make sure you highlight APA, and you can just copy and paste it into your document if it's for an assignment or a paper or whatever you're using it for. So that's how Project Muse works. So pretty simple there. And it's nice because there's all different types of sources, and it's very, very colorful and very visual. The next one is APA PsycNet, which is great for psychology majors, but it contains ebooks and peer-reviewed journals published by the American Psychological Association. And it also has a thesaurus of psychological index terms, which is great for conducting research on a topic in the event that you kind of are at a dead end and you need different search terms and you want to try something new. So to search this one, you can search for sources by using the search feature, basic or advanced searching, or you can browse for articles and books similar to Project Muse. You can also use the APA thesaurus feature to locate different search terms and then use those terms in your searches. So I'm going to go to APA PsycNet, make sure I can find it first. So there it is right there. And so here's the browse icon. I'll click on that first. So you can browse books and encyclopedia entries or journal articles. I'm going to go ahead and browse journals. And it gives you everything kind of alphabetical. So it looks like these are journals themselves, not articles. So what you have to do is you'd have to kind of see what kind of journal that you'd want to look at and then view the articles inside. And so this is all of the different articles that are in this journal, and you can almost kind of narrow things down by looking at the different volumes as it goes up, chronologically. And then the PDF links are also located right below the title, so it's pretty easy to access when you find one you want to read. If you want to conduct a regular search, just go to the home page and use the search button here. I'm going to go ahead and select peer-reviewed because I know a lot of people in psychology usually need peer-reviewed sources. And then the same thing would apply. You can use the filters on the left, filter by year, index term, source, author, age group. Then you can also search within the search results and make it even more specific if you need to. And if you do want to access these, just click on the PDF link. And the citation link should also be located either under references, or we may have to click on the actual title. Okay, so you do have to click on the actual title. So what you can do is you can just highlight the citation right here and copy and paste it into your document. And then there's obviously a PDF link located here as well. Now, if you're kind of getting stuck doing a search on this database, you can use the APA thesaurus to kind of help with your vocab. You can look up a term and you can also browse through it alphabetically. So if you're looking for alternatives to, let's say, media, maybe for example. So instead of just searching media, you can search digital media. You can search for instructional media, mass media. There's all different kinds of media. So you can kind of see it categorizes your words a little bit, makes them a little more specific. And you'll kind of see when you do this, if you change this to media exposure, for example, your search results are going to be a lot different. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So you can kind of see there's some different results here compared to when we just did a search for media studies. So this is a really, really useful tool if you are getting kind of stuck in your searching and you need some extra help with getting some different results. So that's an overview of APA PsycNet. And the last database I'm going to go over is the Jove Core Social Psychology database. It's a multimedia database that has social science topics, and it includes sources from laboratory settings, which are actually video articles. And to search this one, you conduct a search with the green search bar at the top of the home page, and then select whether you want to see video articles or regular articles, and then just use the filters to narrow down your results. And so Jove Core is going to be under J, at least it should be. There it is. We have actually Jove Core has a couple different databases depending on discipline, but social psychology is what we want to focus on. And so you want to make sure you're using this search bar. If you search the one that's up here, it's going to search all of the databases that are here. So it'll search psychology, chemistry, biology, chemistry, all that stuff together. So you want to make sure you're searching this one because it's only going to search the social psychology database. You want to make sure you do that. And so when I did a search, actually, I didn't select whether I wanted to, what kind of sources I wanted to see here. I'm going to hit search again. So from the top, you're able to kind of determine what kind of results you want to see. Looks like there's only 5 results for this search term, but you can choose to see either all the articles available or only the articles with video, if you like video sources. And then you can also change the publication date, search by author, and search by institution or subject. And if you want to look at any of these sources, just click on the link. Although I don't know why it took me back. Try a different one. Okay, so you actually have to click on, it's a little misleading there. Okay, so if you want to access one of these sources, you don't want to click on the blue text, you want to click on the black text. And so it has a video with some of the content and the information that was covered in the study, I guess, that was done, or whatever what they did to make this video. And it's also written out here, so you can even just read this and do that instead of having to watch the video if you don't want to watch the video.
In a social setting, people may interact with others based on their most distinctive attribute.
So you'll kind of see that's how these play. Some have interesting animation. There's also a transcript, so if you want to just read the script, you can also do that. But it's up to you. However you want to read these is whatever works best for you. So I'm going to go ahead and reload this. So basically, this Jove Core Social Psychology database, it's more for multimedia, so you may not find you may not find a lot of peer-reviewed sources with this, but it's a very good resource to find accurate information on very basic subjects. And it makes it a little more interesting because it's a lot of multimedia things. It's not the same journal articles that you would see normally. So to kind of quickly recap everything together, so Dragon Quest is obviously going to be one of the first things you turn to when you're doing research on the social sciences. And just a couple things to remember, you want to use the peer-reviewed filter on your search to find scholarly articles, and then also use the database filter to filter it out to social science databases only. And then as for the A to Z database list, there's the EBSCO database list that shares the same search functions as Dragon Quest. That was the big list that I showed you earlier that had the sociological collection, APA Psych Info, communication, mass media complete, all those things. And then there's also the non-EBSCO databases on the list that I walked you through, such as Project Muse, APA PsychNet, and Jove Core. So those things are going to be a little different just because they don't follow the same search features as Dragon Quest. The last thing I do want to show you is our research guides that we have on our website that are meant to assist you with conducting research on pretty much any particular subject or topic or area of study. Each one contains different search options, like databases we have that are relevant to the subject. It also has publications or academic journals that are provided by the library about the subject. It also includes news, which covers current events on whatever subject you're looking at, and has lists of professional organizations that are in the field. Relevant guides for this field of social sciences would be communication, education, psychology, and sociology. And those are located on our website. I'm going to go ahead and load up the homepage again. So instead of going to databases, you just want to go to research guides. And you're going to see that they're categorized by discipline. So if you're a communication major or you're taking a communication class, you would want to go to the communication umbrella. And there's all sorts of guides here. So this is the communication research guide, and it has, like I said, search options, publications, and it actually allows you to click on the links to these sources so you don't have to really do the search itself. It takes you straight to it, which is really nice. Same thing with these books here. There's some news links and some professional organizations and their websites. So these are really good to look at if you're kind of feeling lost and you really need some guidance. These are available to you 24/7 anytime, and you don't have to be on campus to access these. So they're free to use, so feel free to use them as you see fit. There's a couple others in terms of the social sciences. There's the communication one, there's one on cultural studies, there's an education research guide down here. The social psychology guide is down here, and there's also a sociology guide here. So depending on your field in the social sciences, there's going to be one available for you, whatever you're studying.
Hello again. James Gilmer, User Services Librarian, here at the end of the webinar just to give you some resources for additional help should you have questions as you work on your research and other assignments. You can always email the library directly at library@tiffin.edu, and Luann or I will typically get back to you that day during the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday workday, or on our next business day for questions that fall outside of those hours. You can also contact me directly if you prefer at gilmerjm@tiffin.edu. I monitor both of those inboxes and get to questions as quickly as I can. For more generalized help, check out our other webinars, research guides, and tutorials that are linked in the description below and on the library's homepage, library.tiffin.edu. Thanks again for watching, and good luck with your research.